Hi guys, it is Yo here from Canine Learning Academy, and I am streaming live into a couple different groups. I'm into the Canine Learning Academy tips and tricks group, as well as on our YouTube. So just in case you missed the live or you've got to head out this Sunday morning, you can watch the recording of this a little bit later. So I am here with Jaime Goldfarb from Paws-to-Share. If you've ever dreamed of being a team, a therapy pet team, we're going to cover what it takes, what's involved, as well as what it's like and what makes their program a little bit different. So both Bandit and Bentley are working with Paws-to-Share, and we have had a really great experience. So I wanted to bring him on because I've got a lot of pet families that are looking to do this. It's a great way to if you've got the right dog. It's not for every dog, but if you've got a dog that absolutely, you can just tell they kind of lean into the petting, or they see a new person and their tail gets like really waggy and their body's really flowing. If you've got one of those dogs, those dream dogs that everyone goes, oh my gosh, for some pet parents, they want to share that opportunity for others in need, whether it's children or seniors. My experience of doing one of the events over at Golden West College was an amazing experience. There was kids that have never really had a dog and they really want a dog, and for whatever reason they didn't. And so they got the opportunity to see, what a well-mannered dog is like. They got to ask questions. We did some tricks and stuff. So both my dogs really enjoyed the experience. Bentley has obviously had more experience than Bandit, but we are going to be going live. Hey, Henrik, if you are watching this, there's a comment button, and wherever you see that comment button, you can ask questions. So we see here Henrik from Sweden has clicked the button so I can see his name, but you can ask questions as we go. So let me go ahead and introduce my guest. Hi, Jaime. How are you?
I'm doing great, Yo. I'm kind of almost embarrassed at the wonderfully glamorous and wonderful things you said about us, but we're thrilled to have you around.
Thank you.
Yes, that's my pleasure.
So Jaime is here in audio. If you're trying to go, is he moving his mouth? He is not moving his mouth, but he is here, and we've got a lot of questions for you. So tell me a little bit about Paws-to-Share. So you're the owner, the founder of this company. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
So I'll give you a little bit of background. Paws-to-Share, we've been around for over 5 years at this point. How this company got started is sort of a round, circuitous route. I never thought I would end up here in a place like this in my life. I have a very weird background. I am a developmental psychologist by academic training. I taught courses on how children develop. Took that and somehow ended up in the field of early childhood education, and then worked in K-12 education for about 25 years. Kind of loved having the social element of what I did in my life. I wanted to ensure that what we did some good in this world. I was fortunate enough about 10 years ago to start an organization. That organization was fortunate enough to be acquired. And about 6 years ago, I was left with this sort of choice about how I spent the rest of my life. A couple things came to mind. Was I never wanted to spend my time in meetings anymore. I never wanted to put on a suit. And I wanted to spend doing things that I enjoyed, and being in locations that I enjoyed being at, and I thought we could do some good. So we started this 5 years ago, spent a fair amount of time thinking about what we could do. And the irony is I've always had pets in my life. I am not an animal behaviorist by any stretch of the imagination, but I've always had dogs and cats. Both my daughters away in college, missing our pets terribly. I think that was the hardest thing they had when they were away in school. And I'll talk a little bit about how we're different from other groups in this field, because
so give me a second to address that. So tell me what therapy pet what a program is. So there's lots of
Sure.
different programs. So those of you that have no idea what we're talking about and you're just getting in, if you do some research, you're going to find lots of different therapy programs out there. You're going to find the training for it, and then you're going to go, oh, there's all these organizations. So
Mhm.
I did a lot of research in where I wanted to go, and I'm going to give you some pros and cons of what's out there. But Jaime, what makes your program different?
Right. So traditionally, and I am not here to say anything at all negative about traditional therapy groups, but we are very different. Therapy groups traditionally, at least from my perspective, bring pets to people, and that could be everything from senior facilities to colleges, but with a primary goal of helping reduce stress for people, for helping them relax in the environments. We think that's incredibly important. Pause to Share differs in that we are very much focused on building relationships between the pets we bring and the people we visit. That's true to a certain extent for other groups, but because we take that to a different degree, what we look for in our dogs is primarily temperament. So when you were giving that description about having that special dog,
Yeah.
that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that kind of dog that loves to get attention, loves to give attention, is comfortable in potentially somewhat chaotic environments. But we want people to, have the kind of pets around that they would long for if they were in a position to have a pet around. So it's all about temperament for us. We do look at obedience, but to be honest, and I know you're that animal behaviorist par excellence, but whether the dogs can do a 2-minute sit stay or walk by
Right.
a bowl of food is not as critical to us as it is to other groups. We're going to focus on temperament. Clearly, no aggressive or reactive behaviors. Um, but in all concerns, focusing on relationship makes us very different. And as part of that, and I know other therapy groups kind of look at what we allow. But we want people to engage with our dogs, our pets, I should say, because we also have cats visiting.
Right.
Um, but we want people to engage in a way they would if it was their own pet. So, we do calm, quiet visits to senior locations, and the dogs have to meld in well to an environment like that. But I think you might even be so bold to be showing one of our videos showing what,
I will.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
what,
I will.
yeah, what a college visit looks like. But college visits can be on the just far extreme where we've had as many as 25 pets in
Right.
a big grassy field, everything from 185-pound Great Danes to 4-pound Bichons, running around, being held, getting their bellies rubbed, but allowing people to engage in a way that they would if it was their own dog. So,
Okay.
between focus on temperament and the kind of engagement, that makes us very unique.
So a couple differences are two that stand out is Henrik, I got your question. I'm going to ask in just a second.
Mhm.
Two differences that stood out for me. One, there was an ongoing relationship with the people that you are partnering with. So the schools, they're contracting Paws-to-Share for multiple visits, which really helps our dogs and our cats, our pets, because they're going to the same facility. And it's almost like what you described, like with the kids go, oh my gosh, Bandit's here
Mhm.
again.
Yep.
And they get that relationship. So the relationship actually grows as you become more familiar with who you're going to. So that was
Mhm.
one difference. It's not like you're traveling to all these different, although you have the option because there's lots of different places to go. The second difference that I found was the vetting process. So you heard Jaime say that they're not asking for a CGC test and that you can do these 20 things, in a specific, and you've got to go through their program with their coach and that was one thing that I, as a trainer, I would send my clients out, and a couple of them went through some programs, and it was very contradicting to the training that they had received. And that to me is what put out this red flag of like, why can't they just let them, walk on a loose leash normally? Why do they got to walk like this? So with Paws-to-Share, the vetting process was different. The vetting process was about the temperament of the dog. And so Henrik has a question. I know that I'm going to ask you about insurance. I'm going to ask you
Mhm.
about a lot of things, but specifically, is there a breed that cannot be in the Paws-to-Share program?
Right. So there are 3 breeds that cannot join, and I feel bad saying this, but it has
I
to do
know,
with
I know. Yeah.
insurance purposes. So, not that there's a great definition of pit bulls, but we cannot take what's considered to be a pure pit bull. We cannot take a pure Rottweiler, and we cannot take a pure, and you might laugh at this, but Chihuahua. Unfortunately, just the data shows that those dogs have the highest rates of incidence, and by insurance, our insurance just won't cover it. Now
So
we
it
can
has,
fully take a mix.
yeah.
Any dog that has any mix we can take. But
So that has nothing to do with Paws-to-Share. That has to do with the insurance, guys. A lot of our dog training insurance, there's like all this things that you have to go through. So I just want to clarify that that is because of purely insurance, nothing
mhm,
else.
yep,
But okay. So Henrik, I hope that answers your question. But what are you looking for in some of the dogs? So tell us a little bit about the evaluation.
sure.
What is the process? So first they, fill out, I'm interested in da 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 da, and I'm going to show you what that form looks like. Actually, before that, let's play this video. Thank you, Henrik. I am satisfied. All right. So let me play this video. Hold on. He's like, as long as it's not a border collie, we're good. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. And I'm going to play this video. So here we go. Great little video. I love it. Love that. So I love that you take young dogs, old dogs. One other thing that was different is that a lot of dogs have to wait till they're a year old, and that's because of the personality changes that change as an adolescent dog. But I think in the evaluation, I noticed that it's more of like, can your dog not lick on cue? So if you've got a dog that hesitates on sitting, they don't know, they may don't sit every time you put your hand on the door. They don't have that down to that, but can you cue it? Can you cue your dog to sit? And they will when the door opens. So I really like that part of your evaluation.
Thank you.
But let's talk a little bit about the evaluation. And guys, if you have any questions, just drop it in the chat like you see Henrik doing. Those are all really good. Okay, really good question before we go into what is on the evaluation or what is on the vetting process is how far, like where is this program located? And you're
Mhm.
gonna love this. So go ahead.
So, just the history. So 5 years ago, we started doing this. We were in a little pocket of LA/Orange County with 4 dogs and 1 cat. 5 years later, Paws-to-Share now operates all over the state of California. So we're in the far hinterlands in the Imperial Valley, San Diego, all the way up into Marin County, and all the places in between. Just so you know, we've got about 300 pets making visits now.
That's awesome.
And the number of requests we have coming in is astounding. Just with all of life's social torments that have haunted us for a year. Anyways, we probably could add 200 dogs. If you know dogs in Santa Clara, we need a ton right there now, guys. But the reality is, there is so much more demand for wonderful pets than I would have ever imagined. So,
Yeah.
thank you for having us here today.
Yeah, yeah, I know that I see the requests because I get the emails, "Can you go here? Can you go there?" And I feel bad because
Uh-huh.
but there's definitely a lot of requests for getting, pets to come and visit, a lot of school programs, a lot of your seniors. So real quick, what is the vetting process,
Right.
in after they've decided that they wanna become a handler, what does the in-person evaluation look like?
Sure. So I'm just going to add one step in between. So on our website, and I know Yo is going to share it, there is an application form to complete, lots of questions. Be truthful with us. Let us know everything your dog does do and doesn't do, because there's a place for most pets for us. Um, but the evaluation, once we get that, I or a member of my team, or Yo might even take on this role in some circumstances, will talk to you about what we look for in a little bit more detail and what the actual processes are. Post that, if it makes sense for all concerned, we get together. Um, I know this makes us different in that our evaluation takes only about a half an hour. We do it at a location like a dog park or a place where Yo might be, where there are other dogs, but there always has to be other dogs. To be clear, we don't enter the dog park. I know people have concerns
Yeah,
about that. I personally have concerns.
so do
Yeah,
I.
we do the evaluation outside the park, but we will do sniff tests up against the fence so we can see how your pup does around other dogs. We will spend a lot of time on temperament and engaging and a little bit of free play. We'll do some teasing and seeing if we can evoke any aggressive or reactive behaviors. We'll look at commands. But again, this evaluation, guys, is going to come down to 90% your dog's engagement. And I know it's hard to believe, but this evaluation takes only about a half an hour. And we have now, I think I said 5,000. We've done about 9,000 visits, and we've never had a dog incident bite anybody. We haven't had a couple growling incidents. I want to be clear. It
Yeah,
can happen, but this model has been very effective for us. I will tell you, the evaluation is sort of multiple parts, meaning a dog doesn't have to pass everything to join Paws to Share. There might
yeah.
be some dogs who are great for going
Listen
into
to this though.
college.
Yeah, hold on,
Yeah.
Jamie. So
Okay,
really,
I'll hold on.
a
Okay.
lot of times if your dog jumps, this I actually had this question asked. She's like, "Do I lie?" I go, "No, you don't lie." She's like, "Do I lie?" I go, "No, of course you don't lie on the application because oh my God, what if your dog does?" So if your dog jumps or licks, which is one of the questions on there, and in therapy, these are the things that we as a trainer, I would say, let's work on this, right? But as their program, they have different visits. So a dog that loves to play with other dogs and wants the ball thrown has a place in their program. I saw it. I was like, wow, this is really different. And then if you've got a senior dog that wants to sit on someone's lap, that dog has a place in this program. Oh, say, okay, go ahead, Jamie. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, you kind of answered it, but our evaluation is multiple part, meaning um, we look to see if it's a good fit in general, temperamentally, but then are there certain visits that are more appropriate than others? So
Right.
some dogs will be certified to do all visits. Some will be to let's say colleges or high schools or K-12 that are more active and dogs want to run around. Um, so the evaluation will make a decision as to where it's best for you to go. The other thing about us that makes us a little different is that we never assign you to a visit. You get invited to
Yeah,
visits. So
I
you'll
like
get
that.
all the details about it. So, is it outdoors or in? How many other pets, cats? Is it recurring? You name it, all the details. And then you always get to make a decision as to whether you want to join. So we'll do our best to match you both geographically. We'll try to keep you close to your home. We will match you stylistically. But if for whatever reason you can't join, you just tell us no. And if there's a reason, add it to your decision to tell us no. And then we'll add it to the notes and we'll do our best. But it's always at your
It's
discretion.
always
It's
a
got to work for
choice.
you,
Yeah.
it's got to work for your dogs.
Yeah. Okay, a couple questions. Do you have affiliates in other states? Now, they're a really fast growing program. So go ahead and answer this, Jaime.
So the answer is not today. We operate only in California. Having said that, we are actively looking now at appropriate expansions. So I'll tell you, Paws-to-Share has never had an issue having people ask us to join. The issue has been able to match those requirements, those requests to number of
With the
handlers.
dog. Yeah.
So if we can find, somebody to help us manage a territory, let's say, because we don't have the bandwidth to do that today, but let's say we found people, then we'd be happy to look at expansion.
Okay. Next question is, so to answer that question one more time, whoever wrote that about affiliates is, let's just say you have, let's say you're part of an organization like Jaime was. He was in the school system, and maybe you've talked to already your school attendant, your superintendent, and you're like, I'm really thinking of doing this. That doesn't mean that you can't have that conversation with Jaime, and maybe Paws-to-Share does end up being able to go in that area, which is something really, really cool about
Mhm.
Paws-to-Share, that you can expand and grow. All right, Henrik has a question about, do you work with cats too? What are
Mhm.
the other pets that do do the therapy with you guys?
So we work with cats, but only other cats. We've had requests for horses and geckos and rabbits. Another insurance issue that we just can't get approval to do that. We do have cats. I will tell you, out of our 300 pets, I think we have 285 dogs and 15 cats. Cats are a little bit more unique. But man, if you have that kind of cat that travels well, that is engaging, might be good around other dogs, around dogs, I can tell you, we could keep you really busy. I can't even believe the number of cats that we get requested for. Yes, rattlesnakes, we get those requests all the time, but
Oh my
unfortunately,
god.
no. Yes.
Okay, so the cat thing, let's just say you pop up on let's say it's a senior home and they want cats. Do the cats show up? I'm just thinking out loud. Do the cats show up in a carrier, or are they
Mhm,
freely walking around? And
mhm,
at the same time, are you inviting dogs? And if you do the dogs, are they know ahead of time that there
mhm,
will be a cat?
mhm. So
Okay.
so the answer is yes. In that invitation you get, you will always know if cats are coming.
Okay.
Um, so again,
Yeah,
if you
that'll be
don't,
a visit I
yeah,
won't be able to
yeah,
do. There's no way.
right. But we do have people who also have cats and they're comfortable. But yet again, that's a decision you'll make. Pets, especially the senior centers, pets always stay on lead, by the way. And the cats that come typically to seniors probably don't show up in crates. They show up on harness. They come in and they walk with
Oh,
them.
that's cute.
Um, yep. And then even so, we actually just did a visit to Caltech, where they wanted dogs and cats. Well, we have this one cat savant lady who brought 5 cats and her dog, and we had vetted the other dogs to make sure. And truly, the cats and dogs were off leash in a fenced in area, but the dogs were great, and the cats have been raised and reared around them. So every difference a little different based upon the pets that are coming, but we do our best to ensure that the cats and dogs, if they'll both be there
They're
together,
okay.
will be
They own.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So the application process, LaShawn, is very easy. It's a link that you're going to get from me. So I'm going to send you over a link, or I can pop it into the group at any time. You go through the first process, which is basically understanding what it's going to take. They're going to ask you some questions. You're going to read about it. A lot of it is Is your dog comfortable? Is this something that your dog absolutely loves? That part of it. You just because you want to do it is not reason enough to say, let's give this a try. This is more of, does your dog, does your cat, do they enjoy this? And if the answer is yes, then you continue going through. So I like how you put that in the application, Jaime, because that's totally
Mhm.
true. We don't do this for ourselves. However, another thing that's different about their program is that it is a paid it is a paid gig. However, you can donate the money to a um, one of the other partnerships that you have. So tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
Sure. So we purposely made this a for fee organization with pay up front. It was a decision we made because one of the things we heard from people who were wanting to do this, now this is way back before we started, but there were a ton of people who wanted to do this, but were not in a position to truly donate their
Mm.
time. And it was leaving out a significant number of great pets and great people who wanted to do it. So we made a conscious decision to do that. So it helps a ton of people to join. Having said that, there are people who see no need to be paid for this, right? And we wanted to ensure that people in that situation could feel good about it. So if you're in that situation, you can do two things very easily. One is we have a means of you transferring money. So let's say there's a rescue you work with, or there's a nonprofit that you want to donate to, so long as they're willing to just work with us on the file transfer of monies. Literally every time you log one of your visits, you say, give my money to
So and so.
so and so, right? Other people don't even want to go to that point, but they can basically donate their money into a pool. Those monies then get allocated. So some of our handlers will nominate, let's say, a site that just is not in a position to pay for the visit, and then we can offer those gratis out of the kindness of the handlers' hearts.
That's awesome. All right. Difference between a school visit versus senior visits, or
Mhm.
what are the other categories that you have?
Sure.
So you've okay, go with all the categories, and then I've got a video of a school visit, I think, over at
Yes.
San Diego State. Okay.
Yep. So when we started Paws-to-Share, we thought primarily we would visit senior facilities and colleges. That's been sort of the historic path. Um, at this point, I don't even quite believe all the locations we visit. So senior visits, memory care, assisted living, independent living, we visit on a regular basis. Um, we visit colleges, but again, those are everything from, maybe 3 or 4 dogs, very quiet, maybe library visits, to the kind of visit you're going to show on the video that are out and out human doggy play dates. The kind of visits that have come up that I never anticipated in my life, having especially worked in education, was we now are getting regular requests from K-12 schools. I didn't think that would happen. I
Awesome.
thought getting by, the risk management issues would be too difficult, but just given where the world is. So truly, we visit uh, school districts on a regular basis. Again, I never thought this would happen, but we're up in Marin County doing this. We're doing this up in Oakland, San Francisco, LA, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego. I never thought that would happen. We visit a network. This one is very rewarding for me personally. These are networks of charter high schools. So kids at an early age had to drop out of school for whatever reason,
Yeah.
um, decided to go back and get their degrees. We're often on these campuses that are not traditional campuses. They're converted commercial or retail space. We've
Mm.
been there prior to COVID. We were on those campuses every day of the week. And the schools told us that the attendance levels went up as soon as we started doing this. And this was the part that really touched my heart was students' attendance is at their discretion. We're scheduling to be on campus when their favorite dogs were going to be there. And I
Oh,
just
that
kind of
just
went,
got me chills.
so I will tell you that I kind of like what we do, and there are really rewarding moments to what we do.
Yeah.
I will tell you that in the past, we've also done visits to apartment complexes where they've got a no pet policy, but they want to offer that. to their
That's
residents.
a great idea.
And office complexes, like they might be doing an employee day, we've been invited to do that. We actually did the National Association of the Academy Awards or whatever their organization. That was a really cool visit. I guess the point being, the first few are our primary visits. There are secondary visits, and we get different visits in all the time. So we even have some private visits that have been requested. We're visiting a couple of people who are,
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
yeah,
we got requested
yeah,
on one that,
yeah,
yeah, she was bedridden or
yeah.
something.
She had been in an
Real
accident.
quick, Jamie, can you answer LaShawn's question? So
Uh-huh.
most of the requests in the school programs, I can assume they're mostly during the week. But do you have all different? I think you do because
Yeah,
yeah, okay,
yeah,
different times, different weekends, and all of
yep.
that.
So, yeah, I will say about 80%, if not a little more, happen during the week. Having said that, especially senior centers are very amenable to weekend visits.
That's
So we
great.
do a lot of those. And if you could do during week but evening hours, if anybody lives in Riverside, for example, their residence halls book us on a regular basis to do like 6 to 8 visits. They want to, make their kids really happy. So, yeah, so weekends, evenings, it those are fewer than weekdays, but yes, those are also available.
All right, I'm going to play a video. So, LaShawn, hopefully that answers your question. It is all kind of mixed up, and in fact, in part of the handler application, you're going to put your available hours, right? And it
Yep.
might change summer versus your
Mhm.
school. Let me play a video now. Tell us a little bit about what this video is that I'm about to share.
Sure. So, I've talked a lot about the different styles of visits. This one I put out there because people usually don't believe we do this kind of visit because this is incredibly rare. But there were 20 dogs on this visit. There were no cats. But if you notice, dogs of all sizes, all shapes, doing all different things, students engaging in different ways. So I wanted you to get a feeling as to how every dog might fit into a visit like this.
This is very much like how our visit was. We had a little tiny fence around, so the dogs have to be able to either they're going to be on leash, or if they're off leash, they're in an enclosed, sometimes not enclosed, right? Ours
Right?
was a little fake fence that, I
Uh-huh.
mean, a dog could go, but these are all dogs that are okay with being these particular visit. When you requested, as there's a multiple dog, we had hundreds of kids coming in, but not all at the same time. They'd
Mhm.
come in, sit down, hang, they'd play fetch, but they just wanted to be around dogs
Mhm.
at the visit. This is really cute. So there's the fence. You see the little wired fence around there, and the kids hanging out on their break or between classes. Look at this guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't require the dogs to have the best behavior all the time. But
Just a good temperament. Oh,
yeah,
the camera fell into the grass. There we go.
it did. Oh yeah, but
Okay.
so I don't know that you need to keep going, but I wanted to give you guys an idea that,
Yeah.
if you've got a young pup that has a ton of energy, as Yo said, there is a place. And if you'll notice, there's some, you can't quite see them sitting on the rugs. There are dogs whose feet have never touched the ground during this entire visit because they got held for the full 2 hours we were there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
There's my dog Ben. There's okay. Balls. So tossing the ball. So this is a specific type of visit,
Yep.
guys. And it's very unique. It was much different than I thought it was gonna be. And both my dogs had a really good time. All right. So this particular type of visit, what would a pet parent, what dog would you be asking for basically?
Sure. So for a visit like this, the first consideration is just comfort in a chaotic environment, right? I mean, even if you've got the best dogs, you can see that some visits do have lots of energy. So the first criteria will be, can your dog be comfortable in an environment like that? Past that, we always look for a distribution of different sizes and shapes. If you looked at that video, you saw some dogs that weighed close to 200 pounds, and there were a couple that weighed 4 pounds. And if you noticed, there were that dog that was rolled over with their bellies getting rubbed, other dogs getting held, others running around. If you go back to our main mission about building relationships and you think about what establishes your choice of a dog, everybody wants something different, right?
Yeah.
We want to have a broad enough distribution where the dogs are comfortable and everybody is getting the kind of interactions that they want.
And the senior visit, I assume, is a lot different, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So senior visits, clearly, safety a primary consideration. Dogs stay on lead, as I indicated. Calm, quiet demeanors, willingness to be in an environment that can be a little distracting given smells and just wheelchairs and other walking devices. Comfortable around other dogs, but the dogs typically sort of roam around on lead independently. We also try to bring a dog that's somewhat larger, and if we can find a dog that's comfortable being held, we want to do that too. Just larger dogs are easy for people to engage. Smaller dogs that are comfortable being engaged physically that way are really important.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, so that's the main couple visits. All right, and I think we covered pretty much how to get into the program and if you're a good candidate. Now, the training process, that's a completely different conversation. I just wanted to bring awareness to this program to people that have been interested. They've gone through some training and they're feeling like, you know what, my dog and I would really love this. So if that is you, you can reach out to Paws-to-Share. You can go right through their application process, which I will drop the link in here. You can set up a call you can even call me if you'd like to hear a little bit more about my experience and how we are getting involved, or you can set up a call with the people that you have handling the phones in your organization. But I want to say thank you very much for bringing this program to my community, to California, and to branch out. I think I felt so rewarding just being able to be in the community and seeing all the smiles. And I'm really feeling so comfortable and good about recruiting some of my students that have been really wanting to do that. LaShawn is one of them. I got
Hmm.
Barbie. We've got Diane, who's got dogs that just love like being on someone's lap or being pet, So Jaime, what a wonderful program. And thank you so much for being here today and for doing what you're doing in the community.
I can't thank you enough. I've got the ultimate respect for what you do. I'm just glad to have the opportunity to speak to all of your contacts and share some time with you guys. And I hope some of you come and join us. We would be so happy.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining live. If you're watching the replay, push #replay. I will take a look at your comments. I'll drop the link wherever you're watching this. I'll drop the link on the application process. I am an ambassador for them, so you can put me down as an ambassador. And I am doing a group evaluation. So once you decide you want to possibly be a handler, I will be doing evaluations by group, as well as you can set up a call with me and I can do an in-person evaluation. Like Jaime said, meeting at a park or something like that. So those of you that are local to us, you'll be able to contact me personally. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And thank you for attending live. And this is a great thing to do. So guys, if you've ever you've got a younger puppy and this is your dream or goal, I will be dropping in some programs and some training that you can incorporate in your other training so that you can get to the level where you can do this in your own community. All right, guys. Thanks you again, Jaime. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.
Thank you all. Take care.